So first of all, Tashi Dele greetings to all. Geshe hopes that all is going well. So of course, happiness has many causes and conditions, and based upon this understanding, we know that today we are going to be accumulating very important causes for that happiness. Another thing that should be mentioned here in the context of Vajrayana is that because we're going to be doing a lot of visualizations, when we do these visualizations, we don't want to do them with a doubtful mind. So during the visualization, just try to put that doubt aside. But then, of course, normally outside of the session, when you're relaxed and have time, bring forth those doubts and try to clarify the reasonings for things for yourself. Because remember, the Buddha himself said that if there is a teaching of the Dharma which is contradictory to your own sense of reason, to your own understanding, you are permitted to leave that teaching aside. And so in terms of the practice today, the practice is by Saja Guru, Medicine Buddha, and he is known as the King of Doctors, the King of Doctors. So he is the King of Doctors who can heal mainly, of course, the diseases of the three poisons, but in addition to that, any other illness, all sorts of illnesses he can heal. And also, the Medicine Buddha is able to see... sorry, tombo chom dende. Come on, dene tombo chom de kadilas.
당근에 등에 소지 좀 된데 계시죠.
dene ngazu patsu ma 보죠. So we should also understand in terms of the Buddha's understanding, right? That the Buddha sees sentient beings as like a beautiful garden with many different types of flowers. And then he accordingly teaches according to those affinities and capacities. So Geshe was saying that, okay, I see what happened. So Geshe is saying that in this way, Buddha Shakyamuni is the king of doctors as well. I'm sorry, not only Medicine Buddha, but Buddha Shakyamuni is the king of doctors as well. And also to understand that the actual medicines that allow us to get rid of the illnesses of the three poisons and all illness generally, these are the medicines of method and wisdom. However, the ultimate teachings of method and wisdom would not be able to be practiced by everybody, right, in their fullness, right from the beginning. And for this reason, the Buddha preached provisional doctrines using skillful means. So as today's practice is specially connected to the Medicine Buddha, then we should understand the necessity of the Medicine Buddha practice and its various benefits. So this goes back to the occasion when the Blessed One, Buddha Shakyamuni, was dwelling in Vaishali, and he was surrounded by Manjushri, Maitreya, Avalokiteshvara and others in their bodhisattva aspect.
다 던지 요비가 지라 다른 좀비 요가 다 마공비 다 코로 너 관계 챙겨 왔어. 마공비 센저를 지라다 페토야가 지어서 송지라. 다 단다도 나졸로 가리이나 강에시나 다소 차가 제와서 강에 가르시나요 송지처럼 요아트 송지처럼가 레테 텔라테는 가서 어tal 야리라 버렌두아스.
So as the Buddha was seated at Vaishali, then Manjushri, his mind moved by the need to help sentient beings, he questioned the Buddha. And he says, in terms of beings in the future, about what will be required to help them, it would be beneficial if we could ask the Blessed One questions and he would give answers.
다 마구바나 손지 거네 다 손지도 다 그냥 갈갈에 면도 그러was. 근데 되게 매비 가질단 더 마르질 강에 첨부도 되니 제비가라 당아주 가르치 가레스.
And particularly when the time comes for the Blessed One to pass into parinirvana, to pass away, and we are left without the Blessed One's presence, what sort of means and methods will be required to continue to benefit sentient beings at that time?
다 디디가르트는 손지가 레텔라 다 마구발라다 던지가 당 알아서 디센델라 강에도 던지시와이나 어느 샤쇼를 던지 다지게 내 던지지라 어느 손지면질라
So at that time then, Buddha Shakyamuni stated, after my passing away, during the times of degeneration when sentient beings are enduring difficulties, in order to help them clear those difficulties, in a Pure Land to the east will arise the Medicine Buddha, in the land of Vaidurya light. And because the Medicine Buddha by Sajaguru has a special karma, a special affinity and connection with sentient beings during these difficult times, then if requests and supplications are made to him, it will be easy for him to assist. Manjushri, however, being very intelligent and also understanding the doubts that could arise in the mind of sentient beings, he said that this land of Vaidurya light in the east is well outside this world system, very far away. How is it that an enlightened being so far away could benefit sentient beings in this realm?
오다 던지게 태초 그거 말해 태초 그거 말해서 남들어 오다 저로서 떠나 미안로서 소와치다 아주도 다 던지게 디세게 자 요 말을 놓서 그런 지용 그래.
And Buddha Shakyamuni explained you don't need to doubt this because of his special capacity. The moment that you call upon the Medicine Buddha for help, he will be able to appear instantaneously in that place without obstruction.
오다 걸어서 그 소왔다 봐 깨지질 들어가로다 가서 다
So there's many stories actually where somebody called upon the Medicine Buddha, made supplication, and instantaneously, in that very moment, he appeared before them directly to give his help, right? There are many such stories. Ale, Rigni, Ale. And so when we think about Baisaja Guru, right, the king of Vaidurya light or Medicine Buddha, there are two ways to think about him. There is the way of thinking about him as an individual who was born an ordinary being just like us, practiced up until the point of enlightenment, and became Medicine Buddha. The second get to the second one yet. The second one is that the Medicine Buddha that we can all become, that we can all actualize ourselves as practitioners.
Drotoswas.
So we know, for example, the story connected with Tara, right? If you take it on the individual level, there was a princess named Yeshe Dawa, Wisdom Moon, and there were all sorts of difficulties and problems that beings were facing, and she vowed upon her enlightenment in female form to assist them. So she became Tara in this way. That's the individual level.
Oda Dedundawa Chila, Dise Chila, Yotanganzo Nujita, Tadikata, Mamoyoras, Oda Kat and Dichila, Genologi Taisa, Machige.
Jenu Lodro Tai.
Oda Takoro Tidinzo Malikandishiola, Coroli Telekange, Nasa, Casaya, Tuya, Tandrigan Yodala Tiene, Hakosabota, Koro College and Kangamevazogis and Sujimela, Don Lieutenant.
So the story on the individual level of the medicine Buddha is very similar. There was a man named Jenu Lodro Taye, and I'm sorry I don't have the Sanskrit for this name, but maybe I can check it for next time. Jenu Lodro Taye, who he experienced much illness himself and saw the illness and difficulties of those around him. He developed an aspiration to help beings be rid of those, and upon his enlightenment he became enlightened as the medicine Buddha, as Baisaja Guru.
Oda Koroga Tomoshoju to the Sesha Sunjimela Debikan and Saya Tuya Natsa, Oda Kare Yina Kange. How do you say Kange? Kange Yuzunga Mevazogi, so that teacher is in Korok Jobares.
So he made these vows, right, that in the future may I become enlightened as the king of medicine, and may I help to free sentient beings of all of the difficulties of illness, of hunger, and thirst, and so forth, right? So he made those very specific vows.
What that Tandrichi is an Anzuina Yuta, no Karen Deva Yina Yuta, Korokange, Mevazoyala, so Watana, what that in the George Sayores.
So because of the power of those previous vows, when we call upon the medicine Buddha now, when we supplicate and make those requests, it is definitely within the medicine Buddha's power to help us with those requests, to grant them. So these are not, Geshe said, just kind of empty proclamations from himself. These are rooted in the Medicine Buddha Sutra and other scriptures, so they are well rooted in the Dharma. And so Geshe also said, in terms of the sadhana, right, we weren't able to find a sadhana, at least that was available in both languages, Tibetan and English, that contained all of the various things that he wanted to include in the commentary. And so for this reason, we prepared specially this sadhana, which should be in the chat, the revised version, Dispeller of the Chronic Disease of the Three Poisons. So Geshe looked at various sadhanas, compiled a few things together, and then I translated this, and Annie helped me edit it. That's how it happened. So Geshe said, with this practice, going for refuge, bringing forth bodhicitta, contemplating the wisdom realizing emptiness, setting out beautiful offerings and blessing them, these are all the preparatory stages of the practice so that we can invite the medicine Buddha. So you can think that it's a little bit like at home when you want to prepare for the arrival of an important guest.
Geshe Sonam.
Yep. The other thing that's going to be very beneficial for you, if you can understand the basic structure of the preliminary minds, setting out, blessing, and making the offerings, and the basic format of the self-generation, this can be applied to the sadhana of other deities as well, not just this one. And so if, understanding this reason, you pay close attention to what you learn here, that knowledge that you gain can be applied to other practices as well. So, Ryan, we will begin with that link, prayers for teaching occasions. On the first page, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. So Geshe said that what's going to happen here, and don't worry, Ryan, I'll alert you as we go between. I don't know if we can make that bigger. We will sort of go through the text and pause. Go through the text and pause. Perfect. Thank you so much. So we'll begin with the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Let me just make sure our sound settings are okay. Yes, okay. Chik drona, chik kale kale ni kyopo temachit. So we'll just recite the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha one time today. Temba chom den de jin sheba dra chom ba yan da bar zo be sangye riba dam sha su demba Dewar Sheba Jiden Kenba Kebudu Ekalo Gyorwa Lana Meba Ladam Inamgi Temba Sangye Chomdende Pejawa Shakya Tubala Chazelo Chede Kyabsujiho. And then, Ryan, if you can just scroll down to the mandala offering. If you can just scroll down to the mandala offering, which should be on page 22. On page 22. So Geshe, thank you. Perfect. That's it right there. Oh, I just saw this. There we go. Perfect. Yes, that's it. And then Geshe will lead the refuge in Bodhicitta, which should just be 1 or 2 verses down.
Chedan sogi chenam la jangchu bardu dani kyabsu chi dagi chenyen gibe senam gi drola penjir sangye dropa sho Chedan sogi chenam la jangchu bardu dani kyabsu chi dagi chenyen gibe senam gi drola penjir sangye dropa sho Chedan sogi chenam la jangchu bardu dani kyabsu chi dagi chenyen gibe senam gi drola penjir sangye dropa
I think we can stop the screen share.
Really?
Yeah, let's.
Was it that?
Yeah, Setaya.
Oh yeah, ta nganzo o da koropage jongin juice tswa ya bos yuwa ina ta nganzo de ja bos so ba chi le chag ya res.
So if all of the activities in the beginning, the middle, and the end are complete, then the cause that we can create will be very powerful.
O ta de mo tane ta shandro go ta page just shandro ni zu de bos so ba chi ta yo gi ba ka chim bo cha ya res.
And of course, right from the beginning, bringing forth that mind of refuge in its fullness is something very important.
Ta de mo tane shandro si ta ni tane shandro che ya to wo shandro si ma sha yi si ma ta ni la wo ta shandro che ya mo mo ya res. So,
so in terms of going for refuge, there are different ways of going for refuge. One of them is to go for refuge, combining this with a visualization of the objects of refuge. And then there is a way to go for refuge mentally without that visualization. Yeah, so if we take the time to, when we recite the refuge verse, combine that with a visualization of the objects of refuge, a contemplation of the causes of refuge, and finally a visualization of lights and nectars descending as blessing from the objects of refuge. In this way, the practice becomes very powerful. So because this practice is a Mahayana practice, and because we are trying to do it in this Mahayana fullness, then normally the two causes, faith and fear, that we speak of with refuge, we should add a third cause, a cause of great compassion. So for the common practice of refuge, really fear and faith are the only sort of two minds that we need to bring forth. And the reason that we need to contemplate fear as a cause for refuge, actually, this is something that is very, very sound if we take time to investigate it. One of the reasons is that, like if we look at a worldly example, it's only when we become convinced that the problem that we have is a really big problem that we seek outside assistance for that. So then in the practice of refuge, if we are able to bring forth this feeling of fear, and if we are able to experience that, the consequence is that we will be able to really put our hope, really put our trust in the triple jewel and objects of refuge. So this is not just an ordinary type of fear, right? We have to clarify. This is the fear of the three unfortunate realms in particular, and of samsara, cyclic existence in general. And we combine this with an understanding that if we are able to achieve moksha, liberation from cyclic existence, we will experience that incomparable happiness known as the bliss of liberation. So for a great result like this, right, this liberation and its happiness, we understand that you can't just kind of go to anybody that you see on the street and ask them for help in getting to that destination of liberation, right? In order to achieve liberation, we need to be able to rely on all three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, in their completeness.
다 샹조를 다 개점하고요. 와스자 템바보 임비찬의 샤선도야. 샤 주비 조 임비찬의 다조 임비찬의 샤선도야. 아니 샤 니 임비찬의 샤선도 소소문다와 요와스.
So the three jewels are kind of explained using different analogies. The first, we think of the Buddha as the teacher of refuge, the community, the Sangha, as the friends who help us along the path, and the Dharma, the teachings themselves, as the actual refuge.
다 코로소 같은 리그 다 용조를 샤토야 자 시와 바게 소아지래소나 대바세야 되고 다른 오메바 코르가야지 레디가레스.
If we contemplate their qualities and develop the conviction that actually they can protect me from this fear that I have contemplated, then faith or confidence will arise as a natural consequence of that.
다 샹조 여보 차도 마차 다 저글 코론데 와치인디 와스. 다제 여보 차소나요 다 보게 타마 용슈 쳐서도 여보 마소나 요다 보게 가리.
So then, of course, we said that we understand that this mind of refuge is a result. If we understand that it is a result, it has to arise from the appropriate causes. And if we want the causes to arise refuge in a powerful way, we have to make sure that the cause is complete in the beginning, the middle, and the end. And then when we go for refuge and then conclude the visualization, receiving lights and nectars from the visualized objects of refuge and imagining that they enter our body and those of other beings and completely purify us of all of the negativities, obscurations, and their imprints from beginningless time, we can have real confidence that we are purified. And when we come to the conclusion of the practice, we need to have a sort of feeling of relief, a feeling of relaxation in our mind that really, today I've done something meaningful and worthwhile. And then we have to imagine that we invite the objects of refuge. Shuksana, sorry. Yeah, dene. Chatsong la sho. And we imagine that as the lights and nectars of the refuge objects dissolve into our body, that we really receive their blessing. Yeah, decent. And then we imagine that as we receive those blessings, as those blessings enter and dissolve into our mind, that we truly come under the protection of the objects of refuge. And this all comes from, the success in this comes from having the confidence that these objects of refuge can definitely protect me from the difficulties and fears of samsara and the unfortunate realms in particular. Okay. So we'll take a moment then to do this visualization. Self, others, mountains, forests, houses, any object we can contemplate does not have any true existence whatsoever. If we were to try to find a true findable essence, we would not be able to.
Numbati no lesson amadu, ane Sunji Melega, Tony to be Ishitiga, Ronald Patrobiga. That's ne Pasupacha, watch that see das.
And then we imagine that from this emptiness, from the medicine Buddha's mind contemplating emptiness, that this mind contemplating emptiness has an aspect of form, and that this form manifests as the land of Vaidurya light, medicine Buddha's pure land.
Sato, Chato, Shito, Shiola, Subakara, Yova Yina, Tapa, the water case of Matukangan Chekitini,
In this pure land, this Buddha field, the ground, the trees, the water, all of its aspects are only things that give rise to bliss and joy in the mind. There is nothing that gives rise to suffering.
Nata, no, you should pursue so much you could tend to Sujimela, Narosoga, Moa, Lama, Ane, Demba to Kangin Moa Yambala, Nombata Sujimela, Jabu.
So we imagine that in the center of this pure realm, on a beautifully jeweled throne, appears Medicine Buddha, who is in essence our own root guru, Buddha Shakyamuni, and all of the enlightened beings, the jewel all in one, with the aspect of Medicine Buddha.
Rodo Nyondor Katsulaba Nujin Roa Yonzutita, Pogate Devato Dema, Shirado Dema, Kijashi Shiba, Kitanye Shiba, Tapa Gabi, Moni, Ota Dejda.
And we imagine that gazing up towards this object of refuge, together with us, just like yesterday, are all sentient beings, the 6 types of beings of samsara, but with human form, therefore able to think and listen. As they gaze up towards the object of refuge, they bring forth minds of faith and confidence and wisdom.
Nijibato, Devato, Reva Zota, Sujimela, Choloshas, no, Reva Jato Mareva Chavi, Somado.
On the basis of bringing forth this faith and wisdom, all of us assembled sentient beings, we place 100% of our hopes, 100% of our confidence in Bhagavan Medicine Buddha.
Rusoso Koal Kazi Deva Inayo Halash Ram Muchi was Ganginuya. Inayin Rova Sinjeta Tandi, the Jajaba in Takawa Mumble Gangin Muguya, Tuya Memories. Tandaguman, some betoni Tatandi, Ganget to Tag with the Sumbeton, Niji, Abuchisitas.
Thinking that I myself experiencing the sufferings of samsara, in a way that's not so significant, because I am just one individual. But if I accept this status quo, then there are also all of those other beings who will remain within samsara. They are numberless, and their suffering will be endless. Therefore, I must do something to help them. So bring forth that compassion, and then as the next step think, they must be freed from all suffering, problems, and their causes. I myself alone will help free them from that. Combine that compassion with the superior intention.
tenji soma nuji ta drea meba mare de toke yare o ta sunji mela ta mi kombo to so ta ngine pge jitu de ba nishi to de ba kangre ina de toke ya isa ta ti ha se je te da gi che da mele kombo mi tshi so bi to ne so ju se.
It is not as if I'll never be able to help them in accordance with my intention. Beings such as the Medicine Buddha, because they possess clairvoyance, because they possess the legs of magical emanation and all the powers of enlightened activity, are able to help all sentient beings exactly as they need. Therefore, may I actualize the state of Medicine Buddha to benefit migrating beings.
세가시 도 예데 가리나요 마로솔타 노아 누지 로지지 마 이사다 땡데 저토 그래 소마가지.
All of the aspects of my mind, both the faults and the positive mental qualities I possess, they are not inherently existent in the way that they appear. Because they are not, then true change is possible. So we'll now begin with the sadhana, dispeller of the chronic disease of the three poisons. So what we'll do is we'll recite the extensive refuge once in Tibetan and twice in English. So, yes, perfect. That's exactly where we should be. Yeah.
Joju dusungi dejin cheba tong shegi kusun tu yenden chine tamche chidu dibe ngo joba chuge bombo tongja gyasu tsaji jone babe gendun tamche gi ngada jinchen sawa dang juba chepe palden lama damba namla chabsu chi ho zobe sangye namla chabsu chi ho dambe che namla chabsu chi ho pabe gende namla chabsu chi ho.
So we'll do the next one in English. Nature incorporating the entire body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity of all the Tatagatas of the 3 times and 10 directions, source of 84,000 collections of dharmas, lord of all Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the kind and glorious holy root and lineage gurus. I seek refuge in the completely enlightened Lord Buddhas. I seek refuge in the holy Dharma. I seek refuge in the Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their hosts of retinue deities. I seek refuge in the glorious holy protectors, Dharma protector guardians endowed with the wisdom I. Tentama. Nature incorporating the entire body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity of all the Tatagatas of the 3 times and 10 directions, source of 84,000 collections of dharmas, lord of all Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the kind and glorious holy root and lineage gurus. I seek refuge in the completely enlightened Lord Buddhas. I seek refuge in the holy Dharma. I seek refuge in the Arya Sangha. I seek refuge in the 8 brothers gone to bliss, the Lord Medicine Buddhas with their hosts of retinue deities. I seek refuge in the glorious holy protectors, Dharma protector guardians, endowed with the wisdom I.
Yeah.
So we'll do the next verse, which is the abbreviated refuge and bodhicitta. So just a little bit up, Ryan, a little bit up. No, you're going, oh, yep, that's it. Sangye Chodong Sogi Chodong La. Is that it? Yep, that's it. So we'll do this 3 times in Tibetan.
Sangye Chodong Sogi Chodong La, Jangcho Bardo Dani Chabsu Chi, Dagi Chinso Giba Di Dagi, Jola Penje Sangye Joba Shu, Sangye Chodong Sogi Chodong La, Jangcho Bardo Dani Chabsu Chi, Dagi Chinso Giba Di Dagi, Jola Penje Sangye Joba Shu, Sangye tamje chudon sogi chunam la jansho badu dani gyabsu chi dagi jinso giba didagi jola penjir sange jobar sho.
Simiji.
Yeah.
So now we'll do the 4 immeasurables, and we'll recite these once in Tibetan and once in English. Semjen tamje dewe dan dewe gyudan demba joji semjen tanje dunge dan dunge gi gyudan drewa joji semjen tanje dunge mebe dewe dan mi drewa joji semjen tanje nyerin jadan nidan drewe tangyong la neba joji. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from desire for friends and hatred for enemies. Loso. Yeah. So Geshe said that tomorrow he'll lead a more extensive contemplation about these 4 immeasurables. But these 4 immeasurables are extremely important because when we do them after in this way, what they do is they enhance our bodhicitta and our refuge, and they make them even more powerful. So when you have time, right, when you can take your time with the practice, this is one of the things, one of the places it's good to pause. So it's just like when you plant an apple seed, right? If you want a beautiful fruit tree to come from that, then you have to make sure there's enough water, fertilizer, sunlight, and so forth. These enhancing practices are like that. So Geshe said he's going to take a negative example. Maybe we can turn the screen share off. I don't know. Yeah. Great, thank you. So he's going to take a negative example to bring home this point. And he's saying that if you think about getting angry at someone, if you just have a moment of anger and you don't give it much further thought, you just have that moment of anger, and it's something that is fleeting. If you only think of 1 or 2 things that person did to upset you, then that anger, right, it's not going to be so powerful. It's not going to be able to cause you that much trouble. However, if the person makes you angry and then you think back and you go through thinking about all of the things that they've done that have annoyed you or harmed you, and you go over those in your mind, then from ruminating like that, the anger can get to a point where you're not even able to be in the same room with the person. If you continue to ruminate, right, it could affect being able to sleep. It could affect your enjoyment of your food. The anger can leak into every part of your life. So we actually need to use these 4 immeasurables in the same way as those reasons that annoy us about the person. We need to think about them methodically, and when we do that, this will enhance our mind of bodhicitta.
전에 노len 거 주더니 때도 용 그래.
So Geshe was saying that one of his friends, who's gone back to Tibet, but who was a respected practitioner, he said that we should contemplate love and compassion to the point that when we think about the problems that sentient beings endure, this will bring tears to our eyes. Then we will know that our heart has been moistened by the practice.
밑에 거지 쉬워요 하다. 승인해 주세요 하래. 어떻더니 좋아질래서 더니 안주 가르쳐 되나 티소 것을 깔래 매봐. 다 배워 가윙원인 거는 놓야지 때문에 용기요 하래.
If we can bring forth that sort of feeling about the importance of our practice, then we will be able to work towards what we want by training in hearing, contemplation, and meditation without great effort, always engaging with a joyful mind.
다 던지지래. 다 던지게 당길라바 노지 좋아 쉬소나. 뭐도 던도 스토나요. 녀자 지고 지태슈 som바 좋아지.
When we cultivate this mind and are able to maintain it, another side effect of this is that every single being that we encounter, whether human or animal, will have a feeling that I knew this person or this being before, that this being is close to me. So now, so now we will So now we'll just recite the names of the 8 Tatagatas. So we'll continue with the sadhana towards the bottom of page 3. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, King of melodious sound, brilliant radiance of skill, adorned with jewels, moon, and lotus, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, stainless excellent gold, great jewel who accomplishes all vows, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, supreme glory, free from sorrow, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, melodious ocean of proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, delightful King of clear knowing, supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, medicine guru, King of lapis light, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. To the Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, fully enlightened Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, offer, and go for refuge. So now we'll do the 7 limbs. We'll do the 7 limbs in Tibetan. It has a very nice tune, and it's easy to follow along. My voice is not the greatest, but hopefully you'll be able to follow.
Gosungu pe go ne cha se lo nge sham ye zhu che So we'll do the short mandala in English this time, and then we'll go to the instantaneous self-generation. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all beings enjoy such pure lands. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Nirayatayami.
So we'll do the instantaneous self-generation. Instantly I arise in the form of Medicine Buddha, King of Vaidurya light, blue in color with one face and two arms.
타야라 담바도 당기 전에 샹도 세시 공비 틀라테네 샤요 어다수 지면라 다조 싶강가 투이년의 롱기쇼를 지페롱마 더송 소바.
So after rising into the self-generation, we can do a brief visualization here that thinking through arising, refuge, and bodhicitta, and performing the 7 limbs, that the objects of refuge, the medicine Buddha and so forth, they become pleased with us, and the medicine Buddha comes to the crown of our head. And then when they come to the head, they dissolve into light and absorb into us. Imagine that ourselves arising in the form of the deity, but enhanced by this blessing of having the object of refuge, medicine Buddha, absorb into us, that his blessings of body, speech, and mind mix with us inseparably, and our mind is very different. We are able to direct our mind of wisdom to see the emptiness of all objects, and to see how they are empty and impermanent, just like bubbles on water.
타마피고 코이게다 링아 예소다 tumba 디잉올파 터닐라 아니 돈이도 비시라 디잉올레 아니 소제메절라 계시질 당길라바 무시가 올도소 소.
So one way to arise as the instantaneous self-generation is we can think that our ordinary body, speech, and mind and so forth, that these dissolve into the sphere of emptiness, and that on the basis of this mind apprehending emptiness, its appearance aspect, we arise in the form of medicine Buddha. And so this ordinary I, the sense of self that we have, we should let go of that old vision of ourselves and really think that the essence of this self is now the fully enlightened medicine Buddha. And so now we imagine that if you have a bumpa, a vase set in front of you, that this bumpa or this vase set in front of you, it also does not exist from its own side. It is empty of inherent nature. Bumpadi Nanglola. So you then think that this action vase arises from the sphere of emptiness with a spout, and then you think that within this action vase is a sun cushion. And you imagine that from this sun cushion, instantaneously, the appearance aspect of one's mind apprehending emptiness arises as a hum syllable, surrounded by the mantra Tayata Om Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungati Soha.
nomba tandri chi de to ma nomba re ma to te la so je me le tu ni to bi shi ngo I so ba te o ko ga is.
So you have this visual appearance of the hung with the mantra garland and so forth, but you should understand that although it appears like this, it is in essence the medicine Buddha's holy mind single-pointedly contemplating emptiness, the wisdom realizing emptiness.
Hui ma te do chi ba le ge ze pa no ge zen ja sen na nga shu chul pa chi so ma chi.
Then we imagine that from that hum and mantra syllable within the vase, light rays radiate and they call upon the blessings of all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions.
Ku su tu se ge shlo kang ga ta pa no ge ze ti mo le chi ta ni ma te hui ma te do chi ba pa to so ma.
All of their blessings of body, speech, and mind, they first take the form of lights and then of nectar, and these then dissolve into the hum and mantra garland within the vase.
Hui ma te do chi ba te ta so ji ngo zu ku su tu se ge shlo ga pa ge I ge da ngo da cha so was.
So in this way, we see that the hum letter on the sun cushion within the vase, it has taken on the essence of the blessings of the holy body, speech, and mind of all of the Buddhas and holy beings of the 10 directions.
Kale ge de shin ne le pa be chi ge no le pa to so ma.
And then one way of visualizing this is you can first visualize like that and then imagine that the hum dissolves into the vase water, transforming it, blessing it.
Pa be che te ta ga se chen so ru ga I che ma yin ba de zi ge ngo lo ta pa ge ma pa so pa che so ma.
In this way, the contents of the vase are not ordinary water. They are amrit. They are blessed nectar.
Oh yeah.
So we'll continue. Di logo marirwa.
Ta lo lo na de ra.
So I said to Geshe, should I still read this verse? Because we meditated on it. So I'll just read through it quickly. The blessing of the action vase and water. Visualize that inside the action vase on a sun cushion is a hum syllable surrounded by the mantra from which light rays radiate. These draw in the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions in the form of light rays, which dissolve into the hum and mantra garland within the vase. The light rays transform into a stream of nectar that descends and dissolves into the vase water, bestowing blessings. Om Vajamrita Kundali Hana Hana Humpe. And Geshe said that actually, when you come to Om, so of course it's a Benza Vajra thing, so you come to Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Humpe, you'll recite that a few times actually.
And so
Geshe said that when you are doing the blessing of the vase, you'll take out the peacock feather with that kind of metal. I don't know if we can go to the video. You take out that, I guess not. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see how Geshe has it. He's taken out the peacock feather with that metal pistol on it. And it is the parsharchi. I want you guys to be able to see it. The parsharchi. So when you're blessing the nectar in the vase, the peacock feather with the pistol should be like this. It should be sitting flat on top of the hole in the vase. And Geshe said that, it can be a peacock feather, but ideally it's a medicinal plant. You would have the branch of the medicinal plant sitting on top of the bumpa. So we finished. Geshe finished reciting that mantra Om Vajramrita Kundali Hana Hana Hum Pe, and then we say the Hum syllable and mantra garland dissolve into light and merge with the water in the vase. So this is actually a very easy method of blessing the vase and its water or nectar, but it's very important to do this in Kriya Tantra. Yeah. So Om Vajramrita Hum Pe, then it tor. So based upon blessing the vase and the nectar within, we can now sprinkle the vase nectar as a way of blessing the tormas and the other offerings that we've set out. Ale, Om Vajramrita Hum Pe.
Om Benza Amrita Kandala Hana Hana.
No, the Om Benza Amrita Hum Pe matu. Dachi dun sasung injike nangla.
Me. Hang dirmi the Korochevate Diara Chalach.
Ale, oh, Om Benza Amrita Hum Pe Chikboyere. Then Om Sobawa Shuda
She was
Sodam
Timan Garwata.
Yeah, so Hana double chikos. So yes, so we are doing the short mantra. Om Benza Amrita Hum Pe. He sprinkled it on me. He's cheesed. Geshe cheesed with me. Now the cleansing. Om Sabawa Shuddha Sawa Dhamma Sobawa Shuddhoham. Everything becomes emptiness. From emptiness arise Om syllables which melt into light. They transform into vast jeweled vessels, inside of which Ah syllables melt into light and transform into the offering substances. Clear and unobstructed, these equal the extent of space. Om Vajra Agam Pajem Pupe Dupe Aloke Gende Nude Shabda Ahum. So Geshe said last time he gave an extensive explanation of making the offerings, so just visualize according to what he taught last time.
다들 가서 체지 서지 사서 왔어. 이내서는 제가 체지 되어 있어요. 체지도 된다. 체지죠.
Kechuji. So we can talk about the offerings as possessing four characteristics of offerings.
가서 안도 체지 서지 왔어.
So last time Geshe explained three of those.
다 체지 되지 잡아이나. 아니 제지 쳐봐.
So the fourth aspect of the offerings is the aspect of the offering substances themselves.
아니 제지 쳐봐래서 아니 체지가 있어.
Yeah.
체지가.
Ale, tagotumswa, kaudros, dene.
제지 쳐봐.
Dijipare ngapare.
말 당강강한데 자기나.
Yeah.
제지 쳐봐. 지지. 아니 샤지 쳐봐.
If you extend the 4 to 5, you have the offering substances as well as the offering mudras. The offering substances as well as the offering mudras. And you can also have the offering of mantra. Yeah. And then the offering of concentration or samadhi. And then the offering of accomplishment. So those are the 5. I want to get them again. So the substance, the mudra, the mantra, the samadhi or concentration, the accomplishments or attainments. Those are the 5 types or characteristics of offering, and that 5th one, offering of accomplishment, this can be an offering of the understanding that all of the various aspects of the offering are empty of inherent existence. Can we put the video on? Sorry. Just thought people might be bored of the screen, the Skype screen. Thank you. Yeah.
This one,
So that's very important to keep in mind. So those are like 5 ways of thinking about the offerings, which help us understand 5 qualities of the offerings. So what is the difference between offerings generally and offering substances specifically? We specify offerings and offering substances because the real offering actually is the mind of bliss or joy, is the mind of bliss or joy that the recipient of the offering generates after receiving it. The flowers themselves, the different types of water, food, music, and so forth, those are thought of as the offering substances, not as the offering itself. The offering is the bliss that they arise. Yeah. So having blessed and made the offerings, we understand that the guest is actually ourselves, the self-generation of ourselves as medicine Buddha. So we'll recite, now we'll go back to the text, to page 8, and we'll recite the visualization of the self-generation. Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarvadhamma Swabhava Shuddhoham. Everything becomes emptiness. From emptiness, a palm syllable arises, melts into light, and transforms into a lotus. Upon the lotus, the syllable A arises as a moon cushion, where your mind transforms into a blue syllable Hum, from which light rays emanate, making offerings to the holy beings and accomplishing the welfare of sentient beings. The light rays gather back into the Hum. You transform into the Bhagavan, king of medicine, with blue body, 1 face, and 2 hands. Your right hand is in the mudra of giving the Dharma and holds the stem of an Arura plant, the antidote to the 440 diseases. Your left hand is in the mudra of meditative equipoise, upon which sits an alms bowl filled with the nectar of deathlessness. Your holy body is adorned with the 3 Dharma robes, saffron in color. You are ornamented with the marks and signs of a Buddha. Your feet are in the Vajra posture. Your forehead is adorned with an Om, throat with an A, and heart with a Hum. From the seed syllable at the heart, light rays emanate, summoning the Sugatas of the 10 directions in the aspect of Baisaja Guru. Om Benza Samaza Za Hum Bam Ho. They dissolve into each other, becoming inseparable. So the Tibetan doesn't specify it, but that's the wisdom and commitment beings. So now we do the empowering deities. Again, light rays emanate from the seed syllable at the heart. The empowering deities of the 5 families and their retinues are gathered together. Om Vajra Samadza. All you Tathagatas, please bestow empowerment upon me. Having thus requested, Om Vajra Bhava Abhishincha Hung. Having said this, they bestow empowerment by pouring the vase water at the crown. This fills the body and purifies stains. The excess water at the crown transforms into an Akshobhya Buddha crown ornament. Tachubapuyarwa. Om Sarva Tathagata Bekanza Gubadu Prabhupada. So now we'll pause here. So maybe go to video and Geshe will give some explanation. So this mantra, Om Sabhava Shuddha Sarvadhamma Svabhava Shuddho Hang, we need to think about.
Om Sabhava Shuddha Sena. Ani Naruso Rurusoso Nga Rujameba.
Om Sabhava Shuddha, what we can think here is that one's I or oneself lacks natural existence.
Hakusarawa, Kata Kazul Lava Nujite, Om Seate, Narusu, Linga, Yisala, Deni Tapinga, Koyaris.
When we think of Om, we can think from the practitioner's point of view, our body, speech, and mind. These are the 3 things that we posit the I or the self upon. Sobhava means nature.
Shuddha
Shuddha means pure. Dakparwa. Jimamepa.
다 로지티 다 봐.
Yeah.
하고 살아와.
Yeah.
링아 소소 링아 예살라 테네 답이 나테 로지티 다 봐래. 로지티 야 말해.
So this means that the body, speech, and mind, and the I that is posited upon that, it is naturally pure or free of being truly existent.
나로서 나 세대 주사 여바 노지 다 보게 자왈 대요 이자 저거 돼 노아 노지 솜바 노지 요 말해.
So that self, that I, that seems so findable, like we could put it under our finger if we looked for it, it actually does not exist inherently at all.
그저게 다음에 니가 노네.
So within the two types of selflessness, this is the selflessness of persons that we contemplate here.
사와 다마세나 핀보 쪼조비가 다 치젠다 강가 다리 고잔도 살아와.
Yeah.
치통제.
Sarva dharma means sarva is all, and dharma here is phenomena, not dharma how we usually think of it. So it means all phenomena. So Geshe said here, it's all phenomena, but we should be thinking mainly of the skandhas or aggregates.
다 대다 좀 어느 단계간 뭐지 로지지 요 말해.
So just like the self that we talked about earlier, all of these phenomena, they also completely lack natural or inherent existence.
다 땡아로서 야진 로야 다 주야나 메나테 다 하셔야 이는 가리 이나 다 코레스 야지 도케 다 세테
Dagmenirwa.
다 다메니 소노 도케 셈데.
Right. So this mind that contemplates the two selflessnesses, this is actually what is going to unlock the power of our self-generation and all of the other aspects of the practice.
그래서와 다 소바와신다 호 tum바니도 저 서다 가솔라바 노지 강가. 롱도지에도 다 용서 조바테 다 코이네 강가 tum바파.
So when we say everything becomes emptiness after this mantra, it's before not just ourself, our body, our ordinary form becomes empty, but also where we're sitting, the environment, and eventually, ultimately, everything dissolves into emptiness.
다 미소소 리포트 셔도도 요하르다 다디 주도 제는 제야요 말 돈이 또 세대마도 담 셀메나 와지 소노도
So at this moment, after we recite everything becomes emptiness, we still may have a sense of our physical form, of the body, but we have to leave that sense or that feeling aside. And we have to think just in this moment there is only emptiness and the mind that is contemplating that emptiness.
갈래 돈이 또 세팅은 원래 하카사라와 첼레냐 동안 노지 이게 뽐지시 뽀텔레 때나 메도 빼마시 뭐 어째서.
So what we think then is that the appearance aspect of that mind apprehending emptiness emerges from the sphere of emptiness just like a fish jumps suddenly out of a lake. And the form of this mind is a letter pam. That melts into light and transforms into a lotus.
다 디티는 호타칼라타니 돈이 또 비시 디 대연발라 디 ngol에 이게 아치시 아테 용서 제발에 나와르베.
Yeah.
다이치 코시 뭐 어째서 somba.
Then upon that lotus, there is a syllable ah that arises. That ah melts into light and forms a moon cushion. It becomes the form of a moon cushion.
디틴데 칼레 롱게세 연발라 nom바데 이게 후이 몸보지가 몰다.
And then upon that lotus and moon cushion, your mind appears. But this mind apprehending emptiness is transformed into a syllable hum that sits on that cushion.
후이 데코 돈이 또 비시가 뭐 로지티 이자다 뭐 드리지 이자다 코 니파 쳔보도 또 쳔보 이자 델레게제 쇼절 치네라 다 쇼지자와 세도 지발 라나 메비게 차바다 쳔바 아니 자 쳔보 티사바다 공원지다 배 부스 수바치 비소 소바.
From this hum, which is eminently powerful, because ultimately it is the essence of the wisdom realizing emptiness, light rays go out. And due to the power of the light rays that go out, offerings are made to the holy beings, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions.
용서 주바테 다시 아이데다 용서 주바테 투 니보다 가보다 드리다 부스 수바치 치와 리소 소바.
And from making these offerings, we can imagine that joy arises in their minds and all of the holy beings, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and so forth. They are pleased with us. They develop a feeling of being close to us.
Geshe Teda, oh, that no, Melul Hataba Nuji Yunju Koro Hotel Chita, Lion Geshe Shu, Gelatin, Koine, Nuzulapa, Nime Geshe Chaba Nuji, that Chapas Fuso.
So we imagine then that those light rays that we're making the offerings, they absorb back into the home. Just like when you breathe on a mirror, the condensation dissolves finally into one point. Then we imagine that those light rays go out again and penetrate all of the abodes of samsara. Just like on a clear day, the light rays of the sun reach everywhere.
Nyawani Zutegezeti Chane Tapekange, Lichikane, Senjikane, Kanga, Kapazumazon, the Patash, Shoshita, Shawach, so much budget.
You can take time here to contemplate in stages, for example, imagining that first these light rays reach the hell realm and they completely dispel all of the sufferings of body, speech, and mind of beings in the hell realm.
Kanga Sunji Melego, Tamolia Page, Jenny Kangapa, Sunji Molia, Jason, Somodo.
And as these light rays go through each of these realms of samsara, first they bring relief and then they completely purify the beings inhabiting those places to become fully enlightened as medicine Buddha. And then again, like the condensation on the mirror, slowly those lights again reabsorb back into the home.
Lana Mebazo Savai, Kopa, Kari, Jajo, Jojo, Papa, Chimbo Chadi, Nipato Chimbo.
We imagine now that this home has become very powerful, not only from its aspect of realizing emptiness, but now through the merits of having made offerings to all of the holy beings, of having freed all sentient beings. This home syllable is greatly empowered and blessed. And because this home is so empowered, very easily it melts into light and transforms into the form of the fully enlightened Buddha, ourselves as Medicine Buddha, the King of Doctors. So we'll pause there. So now we will go back to page 9, and we'll do the making of the offerings on page 9. Om Sarva Tatagata Bhikkhense Guru Bedurya Prabharajaya Saparivara Agam Pajem Pupe Dupe Aloke Gende Nyude Shata Praticha So here what we, and sorry, so I should note there is a mistake there. That second Om Vajra Argam Pajam Pupe Dupe, that is an alternate. So that should be one line below. That's an alternate way of doing this more briefly. But anyways, we imagine at this point that from one's heart as Medicine Buddha, all of the offering goddesses go out and they come back to you and make the offerings. So the offerings are made to the self-generation. And so actually when you make offerings to the Medicine Buddha in this way, it actually enhances, now that the offering goddesses have made the offerings to me, my sense of being Medicine Buddha, my divine pride of being Medicine Buddha is enhanced. Mm-hmm. So now the praise. So we'll recite the praise, we'll recite the praise in English. To the Bhagavan, who is compassionate to all, merely hearing your name removes all suffering and purifies the diseases of the three poisons. I pay homage to you, Vaidurya light. So now we'll do the recitation. Yeah. Yeah. Upon a moon disk at your heart, surrounding the seed syllable, is a rotating mantra garland from which light rays radiate. These make offerings to the holy beings and achieve the welfare of sentient beings. All the compassion, blessings, energy, and spiritual power of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is brought forth in the aspect of light rays. These dissolve into you. Takur? Yeah. So now we'll recite the mantra. Tayata Om Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha Karisa Kechichichu. Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Om Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. So as you recite, you can imagine that at a home at your heart, the mantra garland of Medicine Buddha is circling around that, emanating lights and nectars as you recite the mantra. As you recite the mantra, another visualization you can do is imagine that the squiggle, the tigle at the top of the hum, is in nature like a rainbow, like rainbow lights, and that within this are all sentient beings who are totally protected. So what you would do is visualize yourself as Medicine Buddha with this hum at the heart, and the squiggle of that hum, first you imagine it contains your father, your mother, all of those beings you may be close to, and then this rainbow tigle encompasses all sentient beings who are protected. Another visualization you can do is imagine that from the home and mantra garland, light rays and nectars go out, completely penetrating all directions. As these light rays and nectars touch sentient beings, all of their physical and mental difficulties are completely cleared away. Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Teatom Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Teatom Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Teatom Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Samungate Soha. Teatom Bekansa Bekansa Maha Bekansa Bekansa Ranza Another one that you can visualize is that you draw all sentient beings towards yourself and then into this squiggle, this tigle on top of the hum. And from drawing all sentient beings into this tigle on top of the hum, their body, speech, and mind are completely purified and they achieve the state of medicine Buddha. Ranza samungate soha. So now we again make the offerings at the conclusion of the mantra recitation. So Om Sarva Tatagata Besheji Guru Benduriya Prabharajaya Sapariwara Agam Pajem Pupe Dupe Aloke Gende Nyude Shabda Raticha. So once again, that should end with Pratichaya Soha. I'm not sure why the repetition of the mantra is there, but anyways, that's not there. I'll have to correct that. So now we do the Vajrasattva recitation. Toji Samparwa? No, Gumare. Diomare. Yomare. Chuptabla Yomare. Ale. Binzasattva? Yeah. So now we'll recite the Vajrasattva mantra together. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenupatita Jido Me Bhava Sutokai Me Bhava Supokai Me Bhava Anurata Me Bhava Sawa Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitanshi Ankurum Aho Bhagavan Sarva Tatagata Benza Mame Mutsa Benza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Ahum Digra.
Yeah.
And the shloka jenda den so kyogo nanso ngo. Okay. So Geshe said that as we go down the request for forgiveness, he wants just the first two verses. Otherwise, he thinks it's too long. So we'll recite the first. All the verses are there usually, but we'll recite just the first two. Whatever I have done or caused to be done that was unprepared or degenerated or done with my deluded mind, please be patient with all of these. Whatever the beings of this degenerate age have done of lesser merit mixed with ignorant delusions that did not fulfill the Arya's wishes, please be patient with these as well. So that's us. Yeah. So now the praise. So we'll recite the praise to the medicine Buddha halfway down 12. Perfect. Tuje kunla nyongbe chomdende tsensan debe ngenjo dungeze dusu neze sangye mengela bendo yagi hela chase. Now the dedication. Nyodu da sangye menla jujune joa chikyo malupa de sala geparsho. So now we'll go back, Ryan, to the normal prayer book, and we'll go to the regular dedications. So I'll give you the page number for those dedications. They are on page number 28 and 29 in the normal prayer book. 28 and 29. So the prayer to actualize bodhicitta, yes, we'll start there. Jongju zemjo rinpoche maje banam jeju richi chewa nyamba meba yon gone gondu bewa sho tongni tawa rinpoche maje banam jeju richi chewa nyamba meba yon gone gondu bewa sho. And I don't know if these ones will be there, Ryan, but if you go down, but we'll just recite them anyway. Jambe bao jidar kemba dang kundu zambo deyon dejinde
Dida kungi Jesu dalo che Gewa dida tamche ratu ngo Dusun shebe gewa tamche gi Ngowa gangla chodu nga pa de Dagi gewe tsawa dikun kyan Zambo choji ratu ngo wargi.
The prayer for His Holiness.
Gangri rawe kowe jingam de Pendan dewa malu jongwe ne Chenre ziwan tenzin jatso ye Shabe side bardu tengyo chi.
Runje ta ngarosu kange ta gyawa jachimbo ta ipus subanda bo yapo shisu ta ti te don su jemele ge shalala ten moge matu neyo ota shin juwala soba moge juwala soba kange kandi jiyana kanga pashani kanga yapo chayaji.
Through the merits of ourselves and all others, and through the blessings of the Medicine Buddha, may all of the wars, conflicts, diseases, environmental degradation, and so forth be completely cleared away, and may beings be placed in happiness.
Somba zumbo o ta tene garsika on da deshi gata nimasha yita shul bogen roji.
All 6 types of beings, may their body, speech, and mind be completely purified. May they give rise only to thoughts of loving kindness. And may in this way, may the sun of happiness shine on every single being without discrimination.
Senje yuzu te pusutsuba ta driji shusu yapo shisu ta mutoni ta page yartu ya jinro rotoba jizo sobaji.
In this way, today we have been able to contribute to the welfare of sentient beings in order to be able to increase our contribution to their welfare. May we continuously engage and improve in the practice. So we'll pause there. So, so thank you so much, everybody. So the new version is almost perfect without those double mantras. So I will work on that and try to get that up on the website. But I'm not sure, if Minoshi will be able to do that tonight. But we will get it to you somehow. So Geshe said that tomorrow his plan is to pay particular attention to the mantra recitation, to combine this with a form of pranayama, and also to do a practice known as the 3 samadhis or types of concentration. So this is what he plans for his session, and it's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So thank you very much. Yeah, he'll explain as much as he can. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And if you're free Monday morning, we'll see you then. Don't worry, everything will be recorded and put on YouTube if you have to go to work and stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Juche. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ryan, for hosting. You did an
Thank
awesome
you,
job. It was his first time. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Be happy.
Thank you very much. Bye.